Welcome to the 2020 BrewTubers Online Brewers Club Yeast Experiment. Brought to you by our proud sponsors. Woody's Homebrew Store. Use code BrewTubers for 10% off your entire order and get free shipping on any order over $58. Go to www.woodyshomebrew.com. Imperial Yeast, a half stainless steel mash panel sponsor of the BrewTubers Online Brewers Club and official yeast provider of the Yeast Experiment. Imperial Yeast offers brewers of all sizes access to world-class yeast and the best possible customer and technical support. Be sure to grab a pack or two now at your local homebrew shop or Woody's Homebrew. And lastly, Hopsteiner, the official hops provider of the 2020 Yeast Experiment. Get brewing.
Hey, what's going on? All right, I apologize because I had to take a very long hiatus from the Yeast Experiment. I was knocked the hell out from a very bad stomach bug, but was not COVID-19. But I'm back today with Exit 12's Yeast Experiment beer. This is a West Coast IPA. I have the Imperial Joystick yeast, Imperial's Joystick Alpha 18. Anyway, dudes, it's cool that you use a black tape, but you know what you could do? I saw other people do this because it's so hard to get this tape off. If you leave a little tab so you can pull it off to make it easier, then people like cavemen like me have a hard time with these things. Makes them easier to get off. There we go. Much better. All right, let's crack this thing. Yeah, and now these guys brewed this early on. I probably should have drank this first because they were one of the first ones to brew it because of their bountiful givings this year to Brandon. So, but yeah, Nick and Brandon, I know they've done a lot in terms behind the scenes on the Yeast Experiment, helping Gary out. So, appreciate all of y'all's video intros and all that. Stop right there so I don't put anything else into it. Beautiful beer. Beautiful beer. Look at the color on that thing, just like all the rest of them. This one's like on the clear side. Actually, this is on the clear side. All these beers have had really nice heads. Aroma. Yeah, I've used Joystick before. I really like that yeast. Can't remember the last time I used it. I think it was like in a pale ale or something, but it was really, really good. Yeah, as with all the rest of these, I get kind of equal parts grain, equal parts hops. I mean, some of these have given me kind of more of a fruity, tropical fruity and melon kind of. This one is, I think it's like it's not hop forward, it's not malt forward, it's kind of like right in the middle. Just a good blend. You know, it's a kind of fruity, kind of citrusy. I mean, it's not kind of, in the little spider web, it's not towards one single corner. It's just very pleasant overall. So, and very clean. There's no phenolics or fusels or anything like that. So, all right. Hey, cheers, guys. Wow, it's very clean. Very nice beer. Pleasant bitterness on the back of the tongue towards the end on this one. When I say the end, beginning of the taste, the end of the taste. So right about the last third, I get this nice round, smooth bittering along the back of the tongue. It's almost kind of juicy, this one. I think of like juicy fruit, Wrigley's Juicy Fruit Gum. It's like very juicy. Mouthfeel on this thing is awesome. It's like medium bodied mouthfeel, very creamy. Look at that head is like awesome. Fruit. This is just like Juicy Fruit Gum. Wow, this is really nice. You guys should be very, very proud of this thing. This is a really good one. I'm digging the aroma, man. The aroma on this thing is, first I was like, it's kind of a, neutral aroma, but now it's kind of gotten that kind of juicy fruit quality. Did I say juicy fruit once or twice? Yeah. So yeah, this is, dude, Nick and Brandon, this is good, dudes. It's good beer. And look how pretty that thing is. Look how pretty that is. Man, it's a beautiful beer. Perfect color for an IPA. Isn't really a West Coast, because I've had Pliny, I've had other, West Coast style IPAs, and they've got really high amounts of the 4-MMP, kind of the cat piss kind of dankness, and high citrus, and that's a very pronounced, you know, quality that you get. And they generally don't have even this much, you know, caramel influence on them. They're usually even less. So, so yeah, I wouldn't really call this a West Coast. I don't think really any of these are West Coast IPAs. They're more like no coast, probably no coast IPAs. There are East Coast style IPAs that have the same clarity and bitterness, but are slightly different from West Coast IPAs. But as you can tell, I am knocking this one back pretty good. Let's see, look at the stats on this one again. I think it was like middle of the road with everybody else. Yeah, so final gravity at 1016, started out at 1065. He's got the government's warning. I like the way Gary and these guys do that. Anyway, hey guys, Nick, Brandon, great IPA. I'm so happy I'm back from the dead and I can actually enjoy beers. Man, thanks again for the beer, guys. Good job. Cheers. Okay, back again for another 2020 Yeast Experiment. This is like a Voss West Coast IPA, and this is obviously it's Voss Kviek Voss, and it's from Short Circuited Brewers. And I think this is the first beer I have ever had of Brian's from Short Circuited Brewery. I met him 2 years ago in Portland, Oregon, I believe. He and his wife, they're an awesome couple. Yeah, but I've never had his beer, I don't think. So he's got one kick-ass system. He's got a kick-ass basement that puts us all to shame. And he does really cool instructional videos. He's like a master at promotions and doing reviews of it. I mean, everybody sends him their equipment because he's so good at doing these brewing kind of videos. So if you haven't checked him out, Brian at Short Circuited. I mean, if you haven't heard of him, I'd be surprised. It's always, interesting beer because you never know what you're going to get out of it, right? It's you ferment it, hot as hell, and it just does whatever the hell it wants to do. As far as all of the yeast experiments, I think there's this one, and I think there was a Hornidal one, but I just looked in the fridge and I didn't see it. Fermented it at 80 degrees for 3 days, rose it to 90 degrees for 24 hours. He brewed it on the 11th of February and kegged it on the 20th, and then FG was 1013, so this one's a little higher than the last one I had, so it's probably north of 7 maybe. Beautiful beer, awesome head on this one. It's got the tightly packed and the medium packed bubbles. Yeah, gorgeous beer. I'm not the best at aromas, but I get the fruity that I get with everybody else's, and I would expect to get fruity from a Kviek fermented beer. Super clean. Smells wonderful. Kind of smells like cotton candy, this one does. Yeah, it smells like cotton candy to me. So, all right, beautiful beer, smells like cotton candy. I'm thinking it's gonna taste pretty damn good. So, cheers, Brian. This is interesting. So this one, man, look at the head on that thing. That is beautiful. First of all, this is full stop awesome beer. I don't know if I would call this an IPA. The bitterness is not that of an IPA. Just kind of borderline. It's missing a little bit of the bitterness for me for an IPA. It's more like it's like a pale ale. It's like a hoppy pale ale. Oh God, I love yeah. Okay, I'm gonna put it out there. Kviek yeast, for me, I don't really like them in IPAs, and I'll tell you why. IPAs, and I've brewed a couple now with Kviek yeast, different types. It's almost like something about the Kviek and an IPA is very hoppy it's hop forward, it's bitter, you're expecting a certain thing with bitterness. I mean, if you're talking like a no coast or West Coast IPA, you're expecting, you know, depending on if it's a double or a single, but you're expecting a certain thing from your malt. You're expecting a really focus on the clean, accentuated bittering and whatever the hops, you know, bring you. Voss Kviek in general seems to kind of overplay hops. It's almost too much on the yeast for me. I like them, but I just got to figure out what I like them in. And I think a pale ale is probably kind of a better beer to me for, and that's, I'd almost call this a pale ale. I think I might have said that about the last one. Unfortunately, it kind of muddles the hops. And I was hoping I wouldn't get that, but with most Kvieks, to me, it just muddles the hops. I mean, no, the thing with Kviek is you're supposed to, you know, the higher you ferment it, the more like cool stuff you get out of it. I don't agree with the kind of the recent fascination with Kviek. I mean, it's a cool yeast because it's resilient as hell. You can like throw that shit in a baggie and throw it in the freezer and keep it for a year. But you know, and you can just toss it in as flakes and it takes off like a nut house. But I just don't like what it does. I don't like what it does for IPAs. I think it messes up the balance of an IPA. The IPA is that super clean bittering, great hop forward. It seems like a Kviek comes in and just kind of blends it all together, and it just to me it doesn't work very well. Now, I don't want to take away from this beer. This is a very well crafted beer. There's absolutely nothing wrong with Brian's brewing process. This dude knows what he's doing. It was a beautiful beer, great head retention, great color, great clarity. I mean, I don't think I got clarity like this. I don't know how he got the clarity given the dry hopping we did. I don't know why I can't replicate that. And it's a great beer. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just, in my opinion, IPA. I would not select any kind of Kviek to do an IPA. That's a Mike Deanism. That's just me. Aside from that, love this beer. This is good. I wonder if you could use Kviek along with like some Belgian strains. That would be kind of interesting. Do kind of a mixed fermentation Kviek with like because you know Belgian yeast generally want to, you know, like saisons, and you know they generally want to ferment pretty high too to get all those, you know, cool funky flavors out of them. It might be interesting to do a mixed fermentation with like a Voss and a, you know, saison or a Belgian saison or something. Thank you, Brian. Great beer. Hope to see you soon. Cheers. All right, here we go. Berserker in BrewTube Yeast Experiment 2020. This was brewed by, doesn't say, so I'm gonna have to look this up. OG is 1066, final gravity is 1012. That's a little stronger one, right? 7.09%. Brewed on February 8th, kegged February 13th, and bottled on the 26th. Maniacal Yeast Berserker. There you have it. So, let's crack it. No hiss whatsoever. Hope that doesn't portend. And I don't have to worry. I can pour it all in there because it's a little hazy. All right. Not as much as a head as the other one's, about a finger. You get a little bit more of a head in this Spiegel glass. Like I said, it's not very clear. It's kind of hazy, but about the same color as all the rest. So there's that. So this seems to be a high suspension, nice looking beer. Let's get a nose. It smells similar to a lot of the other ones. I'm not really getting any pronounced aromas off this one. Yeah, really nothing on the nose. All right, let's go ahead and go for a taste. Oh, another good. You know, all these beers are like really cleanly brewed. This one has, I was gonna say it was like middle of the road, like very, very clean. I mean, it is clean, but there's a slight, I want to say, tartness on the back end. And it's at the very back. It's almost like the rind of a lime. not a lemon, but a lime. Maybe slightly in the smell now that I've tasted it. Yeah, this is a good beer. Again, though, this is another one where I would say it's more of a pale ale than an IPA, and only because of the bitterness. But yeah, I'm not getting much hop character. Yeah, with most of these now, I'm getting more of the malt. You know, more of a kind of a grainy quality. This one I get a little bit of the, like I said, kind of like a very subtle hint of lime on the back end, but it's a nice beer. I mean, nothing. Yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking maybe for future yeast experiments, maybe IPAs aren't the best. And, you know, I could be partly to blame for this because I, you know, talked to Gary early on about, you know, beer styles. And I think West Coast IPA is probably good for, or IPAs in general, for hop experiments, but not necessarily good for yeast experiments. Because it's hard to get the difference, I think. A couple of them I did up front, but now they're all kind of blending together, I think. There's slight differences in how much or how less of fruit they have, but other than that, they're all kind of blending in now, unfortunately. So, but this is a nice beer. Good thing is, I have yet to taste a really bad beer, meaning that we got some really good brewers in the group, which is really nice. So, you know, cheers to the brewer. This is a good beer. Like I said, though, it's in terms of like the other ones, it's kind of middle of the road, which isn't a bad thing. It just, you know, you stuck to the recipe, and that's, you know, you expect to have this kind of aroma and flavor. But the yeast just doesn't really stand out. So unfortunately, maybe that's because of the beer style. So anyway, cheers. Beer 10. This is the 2020 Yeast Experiment. This is Rec Brewery, Matt's beer. This is, he's using yeast, Omega Yeast Labs 200. I'm doing a brew day right now, so I'm taking a little break. All right, that's good enough. Pretty beer. Very lively. It's got a lot of bubbles streaming up. Don't know if you can see that. But it's got a little bit of chill haze, I think. I'll call that chill haze. The head is just about the same as all the rest of them. This one's got a little bit more, looks like, you know, little legs. Let's see, his OG was 1065, final gravity was 1008. Oh yeah, this is 7.5%, so this is a little bigger than some of the other ones. I think mine was probably around the same. It was 7.2. He brewed this on February 2nd, a little earlier than some of the others. Kegged it on the 12th and then bottled it on February 24th. So temperature he fermented it was 75 degrees. So yeah, 1008. I got 1009. So we both got similar with the Chico yeast and this Omega Yeast Labs. We both got similar final gravities. Oh yeah, it's a lot of tropical. Big tropical in this thing. Wow. I get a little bit of almost mostly kind of a mango, pineapple, and it's a touch of coconut. This one smells really nice. Smells kind of like a milkshake IPA, actually. Big fruit bomb on this one. Really, I mean, when I say big fruit bomb, really nice aromatic fruit bomb, if that makes sense. It's like you're smelling a basket of fruit or at the fruit market. I mean, it's really nice. Yeah, great aroma on this one, Matt. All right, cheers. Yeah, he's got to be loving this one. Oh man, once you taste it and then smell it again, it's even better. So this one has enough bitterness to be, I think, an IPA. Some of the other ones I would call more pale ales. This one has, I think, appropriate bitterness for an IPA or a West Coast or no coast IPA. And we all bottle conditioned this. I'm surprised how much carb you got in this thing. Doing it from the beer gun. Remember the days when you used to have kind of the very low carb when you weren't using a beer gun? I forget, you were using some other kind of bottle converted filler or something. Man, those days are gone. This is like awesome carb, Matt. And look at that. Look at that head you got, dude. Look at that lacing. This is another commercial quality. This might be, I don't know. So I like Denny. I like Denny's favorite. I loved Independence A15. Matter of fact, that's what I'm going to be pitching and what I brewed today. I liked Juggernaut that Gary did, and then I love this one. These are all, these is in the top 4 for me. I mean, this is like super good. Tropical is the perfect description of this thing, because it definitely is tropical. Wow. Man, that head is like not going anywhere. It looks like the Harry Potter Butterbeer. I know Matt wasn't a big IPA fan. He's got to be digging IPAs now after brewing something like this. This is a really good beer. Yes, I like Omega. Every time I've used Omega, I've really been happy with it. Man, good beer, Matt. I'm gonna send you a note, man. This is awesome one. Cheers. Ooh. Gotta get back to my brew day. All right, here we go. Second to last 2020 Yeast Experiment beer. Just finished a brew day, and man, this is well deserved. This is Nikhil's here. He used Hornidal that he fermented at 90 degrees. I can't even get that high with a heat wrap. Maybe unless I put it outside. Maybe that's what he did. Wow, pretty beer. Looks about like the rest of them. About average on the color. You know, on the clear side of average in terms of clarity. Head looks the same, but just finished a brew day. It's been a long one. His starting gravity, I think, was 10. I want to say 63, and he ended up with 1010, and so it was a 7% beer, if I'm not mistaken. So, let's get a nose, Nikhil. It's funny, it has kind of that same character that I got from the like a Voss. Getting stone fruit, a lot of stone fruit. A little bit of peach on this one, I think. Could be my mind. I'm pretty tired. Little kind of a yeast quality. You know, like when you crack open a bag of yeast and you had that yeast smell. I'm getting some of that on this. So, yeah, it doesn't smell bad. It smells pretty good. Okay, let's get a sip. Same head that everybody has with that kind of pillows on top. Wow, this is really good, Nikhil. I think I've liked the last 2 beers that I've had from Nikhil. He had this like IPA. I think it was an IPA. It was just to die for. And this one is kind of, this one's up there too. In my top 5, I think. I have to go back now and watch all these videos. This thing is super crushable. Wow. Super crushable, man. This is another one of those hockey beers. I need to have a hockey game on right now. Good, crisp carbonation on this. Really good malt backbone and awesome bitterness to complement it. So, wow. It's hard to believe you can do this fermenting at 90 degrees. That's crazy. Yeah, I didn't like the Voss as much as I like this one. I like this one a lot more. Yeah. Seems to be a peach, kind of apricot, kind of very like stone fruit kind of flavor. And usually, that's kind of what I always get off of the Kviek stuff, is like a fruit, not bright fruit, but like stone fruit. Maybe even some plum in there too. All the soft fruits. I think my son put his white shirt in with a red shirt in the laundry, and that's the drama that's going on right now. But anyway, awesome job, Nikhil. Really like this beer. I could tell it was Nikhil's because he always does the pita glasses. So anyway, all right, I got one more to go. Man, they have all been really, really good. I think the only one that I really didn't care for in terms of the yeast kind of turned me off was Wally's, and sorry Wally, I know he commented back on the video and he doesn't think this is the right beer style for 644 either, but all these beer, I mean, it wasn't a bad beer, it just I didn't like the character of the yeast, but all of the beers have been really, really good. This is one of the better ones though. Thank you, Nikhil. Cheers. Okay, last beer of the 2020 Yeast Experiment. This is Imperial's A20 dry hop. And this looks like it's from the Cooper Brew Company. OG was 1065, final gravity was 1023. Ooh, so this one's gonna be sweet. 5.6% ABV. That's interesting. Wonder why it finished so high. Never had this before. And I'll stop right there. Like some stuff was in the bottom. And yeah, another very clear one. Lighter on the color side compared to the other ones. So yeah, very pretty beer. Of course, big head. Like I said, the color's a little lighter. It's on the clear side. This one's pretty clear. This one you can definitely see the bubbles streaming up. That's how clear it is. So let's get aroma. Not really much. Got a big head here. Let me drink some of this off. On the aroma, I'm getting a little bit of the, what is it called? Phenolic, or kind of the little slight band-aid, I think. Light. Wow, I can't believe that finished at 1023 in ABV. I would expect it to be a lot sweeter than this. It certainly doesn't taste like a 1023. Tastes a lot drier than that. I think it's like a 220, 221, whatever it takes. Sorry, it's my old joke. I love that joke. So in the aroma, I mentioned there's a slight phenolic in it, but I'm also getting a little bit of lemon, I guess. A little bit of lemon, or maybe it's citrus. A little bit of citrus, I guess. Beautiful beer, though. I mean, it's really pretty. Good carb on this thing. Good mouthfeel. Man, if it wasn't for that slight phenolic on there, this one would be really, really nice. I'm wondering if anybody else got that as well. Does it say the temperature you fermented at? That's been something I've had on a couple of these beers. I've had this kind of phenolic. It reminds you kind of a hint of a Band-Aid. You know, you probably know what I'm talking about, but oh, really nice beer though. I like this yeast. I can see how it brings a hop forward. Unfortunately, that phenolic is kind of masking a little bit, but I can tell that the hops are a little bit more pronounced in this one. If that's why it's called dry hop. So I was listening to Gary in his video this morning, one of his episode he released on the reviews. He was talking about how a lot of the folks were saying that they're picking up on more malt aromas rather than the hops. They said when it was right off the tap, it was really bright hop character, and then now as they've aged, it's become more malt forward. Yeah, I guess I kind of do get the malt on this one too, but yeah, I wish this phenolic wasn't in here, because this one is it's beautiful beer. Look at that, it's really, really pretty. It looks to me like Pliny the Elder. Look at that. That's exactly what Pliny the Elder looks like. As you can tell, I love Pliny the Elder. Just because it's a nice, basic, good recipe. But yeah, man, if it wasn't for that darn phenolic in this thing, man, this thing would be really, really killer. Really love the carbonation in this one. This is professional style mouthfeel on this beer right here. It's professional style appearance. It's professional style mouthfeel. You can tell the brewer is, that I don't know the Cooper's Brewing Company. I've never had one of their beers before, but you can tell they know what the hell they're doing because the beer is just gorgeous. Look at that. It's really pretty beer. The head is like it's like hanging on to the very end. Look at that thing. Good lacing on this thing. Look at that. Yeah, beautiful beer. The mouthfeel is terrific. The taste is really good. Because I'm mentally blocking out the phenolic that's in there. Yeah, this is a good one. This would be in my top 5 if it wasn't for that phenolic. So I think I like this yeast. I'm just not sure how you got that phenolic in here. And that sounds weird. This final gravity of 1023, that can't be right. That can't be right. This thing would be a lot sweeter if it was 1023. I mean, I don't know. Seems to me. Maybe that's something this yeast just finishes really, really high. I'll have to read up on that. But it's weird that it finished so high and it's as dry as it is. I mean, it's pretty dry, you know. You can tell I like it. So I'm killing this thing pretty quickly. I got dinner in a few minutes, actually. Wow. Well, that was a quick 12 beers, huh? What else do you do when you have a pandemic? You sit around and you just drink beers. I would have been done about 4 days ago had I not caught this nasty stomach bug that I had. That thing was terrible. I lost literally 10 pounds. I'm now working on getting those. Really, in 3 days, I lost 10 pounds. I was horizontal. It sucked. But I'm back now. I'm enjoying drinking all these nice IPAs. I was thinking, like, should I buy some IPAs and stock up? I'm like, nah, I've got a whole bunch of Yeast Experiment beers. Not anymore. They're all gone now. But just in time, we got SJ Pour going on now, so gonna have a bunch of other beers coming in soon. So anyway, hey, Cooper's Brewing Company, good beer, man. Yeah, I don't know what happened with the phenolic on this thing, but the 1023 finishing gravity that's bizarre. I don't know if that's the yeast that does this. I'll have to read up on it. But anyway, Gary, again, it's been a great yeast experiment. Had fun doing all these. I guess I need to go get a score sheet now and start putting all these down on paper. So, cheers.